Good afternoon and welcome to the Operator Safety Webinar. Today we will be discussing pre-operation forklift inspections, lockout, tagout procedures. And if you have any questions, you can either type them to me or raise your hand and we'll answer them as we go along as best we can. If not, hold them to the end and I will answer all the questions. My name is Chuck Cullinan and I am the corporate safety manager with Toyota Material Handling. I've been with the company for about 12 years in experience as the corporate safety manager. I also have about 35 years of experience in training. I specialize in pedestrian training and forklift training. Those are my two loves. Again, trying to make sure that everybody goes home with the same body parts and the same frame of mind that they came in with. Those are my creeds, and that's what I usually shoot for. Toyota Forklifts, obviously we have 3 locations in Cleveland, Columbus, and Toledo. We were founded in 1968. We were purchased by Toyota Corporate in 2012. And the nature of our business is new and used rental equipment, forklifts, side loaders, personal carriers, utility vehicles, allied products. We also specialize in safety training, equipment parts and service, and pallet racking. So the programs that we offer are operator training, where this is on-site normally, where we come in and we train your operators to operate your lift trucks in the correct manner. Train the Trainer is a program that we do offer to companies if, in fact, you have a lot of forklift operators or you have a lot of turnover or seasonal help, where it makes sense, where you can do these at your leisure. Also gives you the ability to, if someone is involved in an accident, incident, or unsafe manner, which OSHA requires us to retrain on, gives them the ability to go back and recert that operator. Refresher courses, again, this is exactly what we're talking about with accidents of this nature, or every 3 years. Certifications are only good for 3 years. You know, again, providing there's no accident, incident, or someone's observed operating a truck in an unsafe manner. Trainer supervision and refresher courses. This is something that a lot of companies just don't seem to do. And again, you've got frontline supervisors that are out watching the operations of your lift trucks and your operators on a daily basis. And these are the best ones to turn around and look to make sure that people are operating the trucks correctly and safely inside of your facility. This is something we also offer. And inspections. This is one that I get a lot of requests for, and I have no issue doing it, to where I'll come into your facility and walk through and give you a comprehensive plan of what I actually see. The thing that we want to turn around and look at is pre-operation forklift inspections. This is one that a lot of people have a lot of issues working through how to get operators to do pre-operation inspections. And if they are doing them, how comprehensive are they? One of the worst things that we can see is just a bunch of checks on a list, or to actually see a line drawn down through all the check boxes, which really leads us to a question of, are they functionally doing it? And why are they doing it? Well, sometimes we have to get into grassroots and get down into a depth that they can understand to, bring it to them. For instance, if they were, going on vacation, they go out to the airport, do they have a problem with the pilot doing the FAA checklist? And who's he doing that for? Well, the truth of the matter is that he's doing it for himself. Nobody else matters if the pilot cannot fly that plane. You also end up with an awful lot of positive reinforcement to looking at checklists and doing them correctly, to where your maintenance costs should be lowered because you're catching a lot of this stuff before it really goes bad or you have issues. In the arena of your hoses, your tires, your chains on the lifting cylinders. And again, what it does is it maintains compliance to both the company regulations as well as OSHA. When OSHA put the pre-inspection portion into the standard in 2000, one of the things that they did is they put the checklist right in the operator's hands. And again, it only makes sense because who knows the equipment better than the operators? They also gave the operators the ability to take a truck out of service that they deem as unsafe. And by doing so, how do they have to do that? They have to report to the supervisor. Well, here comes your checks and balances, because the supervisors are the one that are going to authorize them to take the truck out of service that they deem as unsafe. We have to, again, go to a position where we, start to look at the trucks, and as we're looking at all of this, we are also making sure that if, in fact, we get it documented. One of the things that you have in front of you is the Checklist Caddy. The Caddy is one of the greatest tools in the world from the aspect that we put these checklists on every lift truck that we sell, either new or used. And again, we open them up and there's 2 pages for each inspection. There's a white page and a yellow page. This yellow container caddy we mount to the lift truck in an area where it's very visible, so that operators call to the attention of it and make sure that they do it. Inside the caddy, as I said, there's 2 carbon copy pages for each inspection. When they fill it out, they sign it, they date it. They actually pull the white copy out, and that copy goes to the supervisor. Here's your accountability. Now your supervisors are accountable to make sure that your operators are actually filling them out in a timely manner and on their shift. The other side to it, too, is that it offers a reinforcement to the supervisor that if there is an issue with that lift truck, that he's got the information right in front of him, so he can make a better determination as to whether to take the truck out of service or not. The different types of checklists for the different types of lift trucks. We have them for the IC trucks, which are the internal combustion, which cover gas, diesel, and propane. We have one for the electric counterbalance, which is a battery-operated sit-down counterbalance lift truck. The narrow out trucks, these would be your stand-up trucks or your reach trucks. They would also pertain to your order pickers. And the last one, as far as the forklifts go, would be the power pallet truck. And again, a lot of people look at that and say, well, we don't really need to do inspections on those. But by OSHA standards, you absolutely have to. You have to have them done once a shift. The other checklist that we do offer is an aerial lift type checklist, where this would cover your scissors lift as well as your aerial lifts or the boom trucks. One of the issues with what goes inside of these is the manufacturers all have a better idea of what they want to see inspected. And what we've done with our checklist is we've took the best practices that we've looked at through them and implemented into these checklists, so that we make sure that it is the most comprehensive checklist that is available to you. Again, if we get into a position where the truck has to come out of service, OSHA states that we have to lock and tag it out, taking it out of service. Simply removing the keys is not a means of isolation. This is what a lot of people for a long, long time thought, we'll just pull the keys on them. Well, most of the lift trucks that are on the market today, the brands are keyed the same way. And for instance, with the new Toyota trucks, it doesn't matter whether it's an IC truck or if it's a battery truck. It's a 2-sided key, and they're both keyed the same, unless you order it specially from the factory with different keys for each forklift. So we have to make sure that no one can operate it. How do we do that? Well, in the past, I've had companies that have either used a chain around the steering wheel to stop that. And that's a bit of an overkill, and it's very cumbersome. I've had people that actually put a cover over the steering wheel and lock it out. but you can still drive it with the cover on it. I've had some ingenious people go back to using the club, which, great idea. I mean, what it does is very functional because it locks the steering wheel to the brake pedal. You know, again, but these are all high cost. And again, who's going to maintain all that? Well, we've come into a situation where we want to neutralize all the energy inside of the lift truck if it is going down. So that means we have to take out either a battery, or we have to take out an electrical source, or we have to take out a fuel source, which means if it's a propane, we disconnect the propane cylinder and we lock up the line leading into the motor or the engine on the lift truck itself. When we look at lockout, tagout, again, we're looking for unexpected release of power or energy is what they call it. And that could be gas, it could be electric, it could be hydraulic, it could be water. Again, these are all issues that OSHA turns around and looks at. One of the things that you'll see on your screen is a red lockout tagout box. This is probably one of the best pieces of equipment that I've seen come on the market in many, many, many years. This particular box, we can lock out any forklift that's on the market today. This is also the situation where my technicians use this on a daily basis. Their protocol states that when they enter your facility to do work on a lift truck, that they hang a tag on your steering wheel so that your employees are aware that they have control of that piece of equipment at that point in time. The next thing that happens is as they go through a diagnostic phase, you know, they're constantly looking to see where they're going to have to take out the truck, or if they have to, because obviously sometimes they have to run them to check items that they're working on. Once they've made the decision that the truck has to come out of service, it has to be locked out, they will remove the energy sources. They will put the energy source inside of one of these lockout boxes. They will apply a lock to it, and that will remain intact until they're completely done with the piece of equipment. If that means that, you know, they're going away to go to the bathroom, they lose sight of the truck, or if they're going to lunch, the truck stays locked out. If they have to wait for parts or they're not going to be able to finish that day, that truck will remain locked out. They will also contact the customer and ask them if they would like to apply their own lock onto this piece of equipment. So again, liability is covered on both ends. We don't want your people hurt. We don't want our people hurt. We want everyone to go home at the end of their shift. Again, the only one that would have access to the lockout box at that point in time is our technicians, and if you folks decide that you want to put a lock on it, you have access to it as well. But again, we have to remove both locks at the same time. Realistically, lockout, tagout procedures, you know, these are something that a lot of companies don't have for forklifts. They may have them for all the other equipment inside their facility. And, you know, here again, when we start to look at, you know, what has to be done and how hard can it be to write them, we have examples, and again, we can contact us as a resource for that. But, you know, how does it, blocking it out and making sure that the checklist and all that, how does that all benefit you? Well, it's really pretty simple. You want the best possible piece of equipment operating inside of your facility, and you don't want downtime. So again, it makes the operators responsible for going back through and taking a look at the truck on a daily basis, and obviously coming to a position where it's either good or it's bad. Then you have the trade-off where they go back to their supervisor, and the supervisor is accountable. You know, he has to get the sheets by the end of the day, you know, or by the beginning of the shift to make sure that they're done. And again, if there are any issues with the truck, take the truck out of service, lock it out. Make sure no one can operate that, no one. And, you know, between the two of them, when you start to look at checklists, a lot of people don't realize this either, is that checklists are completely auditable through, obviously, OSHA if they come into your facility, and they will ask you for them, especially at the time of an incident or an accident. Or one of the things that I've seen come out rather lately is customers that are part of QSTS or ISO, where these are all documents that are inside their system. And these inspectors that come in and they do your audits, they're pretty savvy. They're catching on to these things. And the question comes up, do you do checklists or do you do checklists on your lift trucks? And you got to answer it yes or no. And if you answer it yes, they're going to ask you to show them. If you answer it no, you're automatically in violation. These are things that, again, as we look at this, they're definitely productive for your company. A lot of operators that I meet with tell me, well, it's going to take a lot of time, and management won't allow us that time. I have yet, in the years that I've been doing this, ever met a supervisor that is going to ask folks to do things that are unsafe. It's just not going to happen. And again, it's a position of we've got to break that mindset that it's us against them. We're all working together for one common goal. And again, that's safety, that's productivity. And again, this is where we have to work with the operators have to work with us. In conclusion, and as we look at resources coming through, you can actually view our resource tab on our website and take advantage of all the free content. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at chuckc@tmhoh.com. I'll answer any question that you have, and I'm here as a resource for our customers as well as my 3 facilities here in Ohio, which I rotate through, and I'm around to all 3 every month. So you might get into an opportunity where I may be there anyway. In conclusion, it's very important that you take the time to educate operators on why we are doing checklists on lift trucks. And any company worth their weight in salt, as I tell them when I do training with them, you don't do checklists for Chuck. You don't do checklists for XYZ Corporation. You do checklists for yourself. For yourself. And again, this is where I come back and I reiterate with them as well. If you're taking your family out of town, and you're going out of state in your car, do you have the car looked at, or do you look at it when you leave? Bring it down into terms they can understand. So the opportunity is always there for them to make an informed decision. I guess at this point in time, what I would ask is that if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in, and I'll answer them as best I can. It's a very, very good question. The question is, with multiple operators of one lift truck, who conducts the inspection at the shift start? We look at it as first person getting on the lift truck. And when we look at that, we also require, when I do training, I tell the operators all the time, I don't care whether the 1st, the 5th, the 15th, you have to verify that the checklist has been done. If it has not been done, then we need to fill it out. If it has been done, you still want to walk around the truck and take a look at it, so that, again, you don't have a bad opportunity or you don't have an issue that you're dealing with. It's a great question, and I get asked that all the time. Thank you. Are there any other questions? If there are any other questions, I would like to thank everyone for attending the webinar. And this will be the first in a series of quite a few. I hope we can get your attention on the next one that we come through, because this stuff is all important. And again, this is the stuff that I live with every day. You know, I go in and out of lots and lots of facilities. I see a lot of very, very good practices that I use. And I share information with every company that I go into as far as what I've seen, what are best practices, because safety is something that you can't just talk about. You have to live. And again, it's a position where nobody wants anybody to get hurt. And as long as we can keep that number down, and my goal for safety and accidents every year has to be 0. It has to be. Anything less than that, you know, we have room to improve on. And again, it's up to us to try to figure out what were the causes and how can we improve on that process. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a good day. Thank you.